Hi everyone, I'm Danny and I'm an admissions consultant here at The Profs for engineering and sciences admissions applications to top universities in the UK. With that being said, should you apply to engineering in the UK? That might not be a question that crosses a lot of other people's minds, but it might be crossing your mind right now. Is engineering really worth it to study in the UK? Well, I can say from my experience, it definitely is worth studying an engineering degree in the UK, especially at some of the higher ranked universities that we have on offer. So one of the benefits of getting an education in a UK university for engineering is that it tends to be quite globally recognized, so that when you get an education here, other countries know that you're receiving a very high standard of training and instruction in engineering. Another thing to mention is that a lot of UK universities are accredited by institutions. So in the UK, we have multiple institutions that can charter an engineer. And what that means is that these UK universities prove to these independent bodies that their students have a minimum competency when it comes to practicing as an engineer. So it shows that they have the right skills, and it doesn't just mean aptitude and technical ability. It can mean how you present, how you communicate, how you deal with general engineering scenarios, and how you've proven that in your degree. So it's worth looking at these accreditations when you come onto the website of various UK universities. Because if they're not accredited, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good course to apply to, but it just might not have the same recognition that other universities might have in the UK if you were to study there. Also, with studying an engineering degree in the UK, it can help your job prospects, not just in research or engineering type firms, but you can have access to a range of jobs such as finance jobs, engineering firms, teaching, as well as jobs that might not seem as conventionally related to engineering. So when people hire engineers, they know they've hired good problem solvers, creative thinkers, people that can focus on the most important parts of a scenario. So not worrying too much about specifics, but worrying about which parts mostly affect the system, what things to focus on when it comes to efficiency and things like that. What you find with UK universities is that they have a range of focuses that suit a variety of learning styles. So you tend to see higher ranked universities that tend to have more technical aspects focused on in their courses. So it might be a high level of detail in how they do their physics and the maths that's needed for completing the engineering degree, and maybe less of an emphasis on the actual practical aspects. Although I should mention that all of these universities will have practical parts of their courses because it's necessary for an engineer to know how things function in the real world and practically. And sometimes the lower ranked unis, again, not necessarily only lower ranked unis, but some of them do tend to have a focus on the more practical or applied elements of engineering, and less so on the mathematical parts of engineering. This tends to be quite useful when applying to more typical engineering firms where the day-to-day does not need a high level of technical analysis, but someone with a good intuition and good grasp of engineering that can help with the practical aspects of day-to-day jobs. Whereas the technical aspects of higher ranked universities actually tend to be more useful in continuing for research. That's why typically Russell Group universities, the ones with a high research focus and are typically quite highly ranked, they have degrees that focus on a lot of the maths and physics detail that engineers need, and less on the practical applications of these. So they try to guide you into becoming a good engineering researcher is what I'd say is the main focus of these types of universities, rather than becoming an engineer working in an engineering firm. And these skills also do tend to help you in getting finance jobs that use a lot of the high maths fluency that's developed on these engineering courses in the more technical degrees. Whichever path you're considering going into, a UK university has the right level of either technical focus or practical focus that you might need for whichever career path you end up taking. Hopefully you found that video useful. And if you did, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. If you know any friends who might also find it useful, feel free to share this video with them too. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a question in the comments and we'll aim to respond. If you feel like you could benefit from applying to a UK university for an engineering degree from an admissions consultant such as myself, then feel free to contact the profs on the information provided on screen right now. And as always, best of luck with your preparation and application to these universities for engineering.